Hello student, today we'll study regarding the structured analysis. So what is structured analysis all about? So structured analysis is basically the development method that allows the analyst to understand the system and its activities in a logical way. So it is also the systematic approach which uses graphical tools that analyze and refine the objective of an existing system and develop a new system specification which can be easily understandable by the user, and it also have the following attributes. So here in a structure analysis, it's basically the development method which allows the analyst to understand and also to do the activities in a very logical way by using the graphical tools. So what are these graphical tools? So I'll explain it as I'll be discussing regarding this. So it also have the following attributes, like it is graphic, which specifies the presentation of application. It divides the process so that it gives a clear picture of a system flow. Out here, it divides the process and gives a very clear picture of how the system is flowing. It is the approach that works from high level overviews to a lower level details. So this is the continuation. During structured analysis, the SRS document is transformed into a DFD model. So I hope when you're doing your bachelor's, you obviously have come across the DFD model. So this is structured analysis is basically regarding those models. This model is in a graphical way, and the structured analysis techniques is based on the following principles. Top-down decomposition approach, in which the model is being decomposed, in which the model of the DFD is being decomposed, and further it is being decomposed further by the technique of the divide and conquer principle. Through this, each high-level function is independently decomposed into detailed functions. At the beginning, it is not so detailed, but as you start to decompose, you'll get it into a further detail. Graphical representation of the analyst results using data flow diagrams. So here, DFD is a graphical representation of the flow of data from one component to another component in any information system. And through DFD, we can give the overview of the system without going into the deep detail of the system. So here are the symbols of the DFD, so I'll explain it. Basically, the symbol for the process is represented by a circle, or sometimes it is represented by another symbol. On your right side, you can also see another kind of symbol, so it is also a process symbol. So mostly the people these days, they use only that round shaped symbol in order to identify that it is a process. So the next we have the data store. This is basically a data storage, and it is represented as a rectangle with the absence of both smaller sides, as an open-ended rectangle with only one side missing. Sometimes this one, you can see from one side it's missing, it's a kind of a rectangle, but from one side it's missing. So this is data stored. Sometimes even in the both side it's missing, the line which you can see, the one which is missing over there in the data store. Sometimes it's represented with the equal symbol as well, with no and with no close. It isn't close. So and the external entities is represented by rectangle. So the entities here are the source and the destination of information data. Here the data flow is the movement of data. So it is represented by an arrow symbol. So here are the rules of data flow diagram. So data cannot flow between two entities. Data cannot flow between two data stores. Data cannot flow directly from an entity to data store. A process must have at least one input data and one output data flow. A data store must have at least one input data flow and one output data flow. So this is a level 0 DFD. Out here you can see there is admin, and this symbol, this round symbol which is here, means a process. So the admin processes the hospital management system, because since the arrow from admin is flowing over the hospital management system, and this hospital management system manages the patient. Here it contains all the details about the patient. So out here you cannot see the process being divided, so this is a level 0 DFD. So now we'll divide and we'll conquer it. So we will break this hospital management system, this process, into further smaller process, and this is done by breaking it. So here the one which you see previously, which is hospital management system, the process, it's being divided into patients and doctors. So here the admin manages the process patient, which contains the patient details, and also doctors, which contain the doctor details. So because like in hospital management system, it contains the patient, the doctors, and also the staffs and many other as well, but here it's not mentioned about that. So we are just writing that we are dividing the process into the patient and doctors. So in the process patient, it contains the patient DB. It stores the database of a patient. If you remember this symbol over there, which is outside the patient DB, you can see the rectangle which is not fully closed. So this is a data store, which is a data storage. Even here it can, like in the second line, you can see doctor DB, which means this doctor process contains the database of a doctor, and the lab report generation stores the report database. Because in the hospital there is also a lab about various sicknesses after testing. So from there, and in the patient database, it also contains, so in the patient database it also processes the bill, and even the doctor processes the bill of the patient, and the report database also processes the bill for patient. So I hope you get it. Can be further divided but into various levels, but for this, in this case, just to make you understand, there is here we are just taking the example of the level 1 DFD. So now we'll talk about the ATM card and transaction. Okay, I'll show you with the help of a sketch. So now let's take the example of a very simple ATM control DFD. So out here you can see that there is a data store. So you can see this is a data store, and it contains the information about the ATM card and also the transaction. Data store is anything which contains the data storage. So in your ATM, it contains the data about your name, your bank account, and also about the money which you have in your account, and it also tells about your transaction. So here you can see there are various processes. So the main process over here is the control ATM, which controls the ATM, and you have the read and validate card process. You have the read and validate process. You have the process user inputs and display. You also have the cash, the dispense cash process, and the process for printing the receipt. So over here, okay, I'll give you with the bright color. So over here, when you insert the card, it will read and validate the card. And when your card is being read and validated, so it will give the information to the control ATM that the card is inserted. You can see the card is inserted, and after the card is being inserted, so it will display a message. It will display a kind of a message. You can see it displays the message, and over here it will display a message like, if your card is valid, it will display the message like enter your PIN, and it also give the information about your transaction. And also if you want to cancel, you can see the PIN, the cancel over here. So it depends on the user whether you want to withdraw money, whether you want to cancel, or whether you just want to check regarding your balance. So after your ATM has been processed, and if you want to withdraw money, so there is a kind, so here it also contains your various information of your transaction. This is the data store. So from here, okay, sorry, from here it will go here, and this also you can see over here, it's an ATM cache. So it contains the data store about the ATM, whether in that ATM which you go, whether there is money or not. So if there is money, your cash will be dispensed. So if there is no money, the cash won't be dispensed. So after you getting the cash, it will print the receipt. The process of printing the receipt will be done, and then you'll get a receipt. After you are done with printing the receipt, it might go from here to there, and then it will go again to the control ATM from which you can eject the card. This is just for the sake of the example to understand how the data flow is flowing.